My name is Araceli Garcia, and I have been teaching for almost 20 years. And about 5 years ago, I came across a program called Design-Based Learning, DBL. And since being introduced to the program, it has changed the way I see my students, my curriculum, and my classroom. Basically, the idea is, rather than having students go through an entire unit where you're trudging along and you're trying to teach them difficult concepts and vocabulary, you're giving them assessments, and then at the very end, you have some kind of engaging activity or product that they're doing. DBL actually turns that on its head and has students create and design structures and projects that are connected to the curriculum that you're teaching. So from the get-go, they're interested, they're invested.
In DBL, we make our own city with a group of people, and we have to decide the government, we have to decide transportation, location, everything like that to help make our city thrive. And sometimes there are conflicts between group members, so we have to be able to think outside the box and be open to each other's ideas. It's definitely not the easiest thing to do, but it does help you challenge yourself to become a better thinker, come up with better strategy, and it helps you learn how to collaborate with other people.
To get you up, get you involved with your peers, do stuff that are never before seen, get you thinking critically and think outside the box. I personally was struggling in the beginning of it because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't think creatively, but then as soon as I got used to it, I got more involved, I got the feel with it. I actually got better and I improved in it with the children's book we have done, and that made me think creatively. It made me think something that's never before seen. I went above and beyond with that book. DBL is probably like one of the unique things I've done. I personally think it's a great thing to do.
In my opinion, DBL project is a good idea for ELD students like me as well. It's because they can practice their English very well, and for our group, we need to collaborate together in order to get a good grades. And I've experienced here in ELD, the DBL project is taught you how to communicate, not only for ELD students, it also helps you to communicate to other people.
What I love about Ms. Garcia's class is that we're doing projects, and we're not just doing work, we're like actually learning, and we're like talking with people from other parts of the world.
We use a very specific 6.5-step pathway where the teacher first begins with asking, what standards do I want my students to reach? What skills or what themes am I covering in this unit? So we backwards plan from that. So you start with this big concept, and then the teacher comes up with some kind of a design challenge for the students. From there, you set them up in various teams, and students have to physically make three-dimensional objects that follow very strict criteria lists. You tell them we're going to be building a never-before-seen shelter, or maybe they're making a city. And so students are now working with each other and developing their 5 C's. Critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity, and very important, civil discourse. They need to learn how to get along and how to solve problems in a group setting.
This could either be gateways, so the submerged roads, or this could be like row houses. Oh, houses. I think there should be houses on this. Really? I think it'd be nice.
So that's a residential.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to just have a residential section along the pathway.
The teacher then continues with the curriculum. This is not a replacement of the curriculum. The teacher can now introduce vocabulary, give students sentence frames to have these rich discussions. As students are building, they're constantly describing and posing questions and clarifying their ideas. As they're developing, we're not leaving behind the curriculum. For an English teacher, they're introducing the literature that goes along with these projects. For example, they make a city, we're going to compare it to 1984. Again, the students are engaged throughout the unit rather than waiting at the very end. It has done just wonders in my classroom. I have very minimal discipline issues or even absenteeism because students feel they are accountable for their team. And so, again, I don't think I would ever go back to teaching in a traditional way. My students are class leaders in my room. They have jobs, and so it becomes their classroom, not just mine. So a while back when I first started investigating something like design-based learning, one of the things I noticed, especially in my English classes, was that students were struggling to retain information. There's a lot of vocabulary, a lot of academic language that they were just not using. And so what I did is in this criteria list that we give the students, basically a list of things that they need to do and include in their projects, was very rich vocabulary. I would explicitly ask for things such as you must use figurative language. You must use these words that will show up on an assessment. And so instead of students using flashcards, our traditional way of learning, they had to actually find the colors and the shapes that would go along with the vocabulary that they're trying to use. And so the students didn't see it as a chore. They found it interesting. They wanted to find out more about the concepts that we were studying. Again, great things to kind of keep the information in their mind so that they can then use it and transfer what they were learning in this project-based world into now academia. So not only do the students create their cities, they actually are constantly writing. So they're writing out plans, they're writing out proposals, they're writing brochures, they're writing stories, they're writing constitutions. So this program, it can be adapted to any classroom. It could be used in a math course where they're designing structures using geometric formulas. They can be used in a government class as they decide what's the best form of keeping a country safe. I definitely use this in my ELD class, my English language development class, where students were a bit shy in trying new vocabulary, but because we had this safe and fun environment, they felt at ease. And they help each other out because different students come from different parts of the world, different levels of English. They're able to expand on that vocabulary. So definitely, DBL can be adaptable to any type of course, any level, any age group. And students are they walk out of here talking about what they designed, and they even bring in their friends to show off their never before seen cities or their form of transportation that they've created. So one of the things that teachers often struggle with project-based or design-based learning is, where am I going to get the materials? Is this going to cost me a lot of money? I don't have the supplies. Well, in fact, DBL actually asks students to design their projects using recyclable goods or cuttable objects such as a piece of cardboard, even a plastic bottle. So this actually challenges the students a bit more. We don't want them going out and bringing in Legos or bringing in things from a store. We want them to really think about, how can this turn into a form of transportation? It's not about the product at the end. It doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be this fancy design. It's their explanation of it. It's their thinking through, looking at that criteria list and saying, how am I meeting this goal through this design? And so that's where the richness comes in design-based learning. Now, if you feel that you need more information, we have some great programs set up. Cal Poly Pomona has an actual master's program for teachers who are interested in becoming DBL instructors or even facilitators. We also have a 5-day summer program hosted at Pasadena Arts Center at the end of July. If interested teachers wish to attend, they can actually get a certificate that says they have the ability to teach using DBL. There's also online resources, and so you will find here at the end of this video more links and information about finding out more about DBL. So I hope that you try it out and ask more questions and introduce it to your students. Thank you.